In prepping any LS engine after you've done a cam swap or rebuilt the engine, I always like to go through and prime the engine with an engine oil primer. This one here is from All-Star. It takes oil into the container, you pressurize it with about 80 pounds of oil pressure, or 80 pounds of PSI to give you oil pressure. Hook it up to the port on the side of the block here. What this port does is it'll feed everything through the passageways, and we like to run it until we see oil coming out of all of the push tubes. We like to run about 80 pounds in the tank. We don't want to overpressurize the system. So if your shop compressor puts out more than 100, 105 PSI, try to limit how much you put into the pressure tank to about 80 to simulate engine operating conditions. All right, now we just turn the valve on, and this is going to allow oil to flow through the passage up into the engine. And we like to sit here and wait until the oil actually starts dripping out of each one of the push rod tubes. Here, coming over here. There's one. I like to rotate the engine around. It's everything moving inside the engine so the oil can fill all the bearing surfaces. And sometimes you have to circulate the oil 2 or 3 times through the engine just to make sure that all the push rod tubes have gotten oil coming out of them. This is also pumping up the lifters if the lifters wouldn't have been completely full of oil when we started. Once we made sure that all the oils came out through all the push rods, I like to go through and double check and make sure all the rocker arms are torqued down to 22 foot-pounds. Always make sure you put anti-seize on bolts, especially bolts and nuts or spark plugs that are going into dissimilar metals, especially with stainless. You always want to use anti-seize.